From Sunday resets to moving to a new city, breakups, new jobs, we love the feeling of starting over. However, I don't think we can ever really truly start over, but I think that's a good thing. Hi friends, it's Caitlin and welcome back to the Floating Rock podcast. I hope you're having the most incredible day ever. If you're on Spotify or Apple, you would know this, but if you're not, you might not know that today is Floating Rock's 100th episode. So thank you so much for being here, no matter if this is the first episode you're listening to or the 100th. Oh my god, if you've listened to every episode, you've listened to 100 of my episodes. That's insane. That's insane. And while I could do like 100 things about me or what I've learned from having a podcast for 100 episodes, it just didn't quite feel right. And I feel like I've done episodes already sort of like that before. And I feel like I want a little bit more time in between sharing those kind of lessons with you guys. And so while in the process of trying to brainstorm what I would talk about on this episode, because I did want to make it sort of 100 themed, if you will, like 100 episodes later, what advice would I give to myself if I were to start over? And that got me thinking. I was like, well, I would not wish upon myself to start over. Even though, like, I don't know, you could look at what I've been doing and be like, wow, like it really hasn't lifted off there, girl. Like, you know, it's been very slow growth. But I realized that like this is my journey and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And I just kind of thought I wanted to come on here and talk about that with you guys, because I think so often we love, like I mentioned in the beginning, resets. We love these new beginnings. Like we love to start over, but I truly don't think we ever can. But I really don't think that's a bad thing. How many not so good things have happened in your life that you honestly like wouldn't go back and change? Like I've had some pretty not good things. Like I would say nearly anything besides like losing somebody close to you. Most people, even that sometimes like comes at the right time, and obviously it has to happen. We are humans, but I think there are so many things that happen in life that maybe aren't quote unquote great or perfect or good that a lot of us would not take back. Have you ever thought too, like for example, like many people have been in multiple relationships in their life, even if the ones before maybe just weren't the right person for you, or maybe were toxic, or you know, whatever didn't work out about them. Would you take those back? Like would you wish upon yourself to have never met that person? In very few cases, I think that is the truth, but I think a lot of the time, even if things don't quite work out, like you learn so much through those experiences, and it really is like that also shapes you to be a certain person, you know, like you look at your past relationships and you're like, oh my god, but like I would not have learned this about myself if not for being with that person. And I just think that everything in life kind of moves and flows like that. I think that while it is so tempting to like think, okay, like what if I could go back today, like what I would tell myself to do differently, it wouldn't be correct, because that's not the journey I was meant to go on. I think something I was recently listening to as well that we've all heard a million times, but don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 100. It's a great reminder for ourselves too, because I know personally in some of the things I'm pursuing, it takes people years to get to where they want to be. And for a lot of people, that's the same case. Or another example is, do you ever notice that we like to give ourselves grace in certain places of life, but not others? For example, I'm a firm believer in, I was talking about like love and relationships with a friend recently, and I was telling her like, you know, like I feel like, yes, you could put whatever you want into like your next significant other, your next relationship, your next talking phase or whatever, but realistically, like what's meant for you is going to come to you at the right time. Like, yes, maybe an air of openness is a good thing to have, but at the end of the day, like if you're not meant to have a significant other right now, the universe will not be sending you one. And even if that next one for you is not the forever one, like the lesson that next person's going to bring like isn't meant for you right now. And so like, I don't know, that's something that I have in my brain is when it comes to love and relationships, like things are going to come and go and ebb and flow as they are supposed to. And I kind of feel like I have a lot of trust in the universe with that. But it's so funny because I feel like with career things and stuff, I can get kind of impatient and be like, okay, like TikTok, like what's happening, guys? Why am I not giving myself that same grace? Do you ever have those kinds of things? And I know for some people, like maybe if you have been single for a really long time, you're like, no, Caitlin, like this is like a lifelong dry spell. Like, thank you so much. But maybe there's other places in your life where you are not that hard on yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that there are different places in life that we give ourselves different kinds of graces. And that's really interesting. Sorry, that kind of went off track. But back to the whole starting over is it even makes me think like if you were dropped onto this earth, maybe today with the absolute perfect life that you would have wanted, the perfect job, the perfect amount of money, success, you live in the perfect place, perfect partner, like that'd be so boring. Like, call me crazy, like that'd be so boring. Like, I think what makes these accomplishments that we want, these relationships in our life, so interesting and fun and beautiful is the act of getting there and is the journey of getting there. And I just don't think that like that instant gratification is actually what makes life worth living. If you even think about life and your dreams or things in your life that you want, like a marathon, like isn't the finish line the shortest part? On my guest episode with Kaena Watson, we talked about this hibernation that we kind of felt like we were going through, and we kind of ended up realizing that like we all go through these like different eras that are cyclical, and we go through these eras where we're really out and loud and doing the most, and then sometimes we're like in and hibernating. And we kind of landed on this idea of like spiraling higher, and it's never that you're just coming back to the same point of a circle, but every time you're just going up and up and up. And it literally makes me think of Sunday resets, and I think we love a Sunday reset, and I want to be a Sunday reset kind of person. However, I don't ever wish to be a fully new, clean-slated person at the end of a Sunday. I want to be somebody that took in the week, learned things, and am a week's worth of new information and new growth of a person, and then start the new one. You know what I mean? I just think it's so easy to cling to clean slates, but the slate will never be clean. You are born with a clean slate, and ever since then, it has been dirtied up. But think of it like a paint palette. Like, dirty does not have to be a bad thing. And truly, guys, I am rambling today, but like, I just kind of wanted to come on here and just like give you guys a vibe and an aura. Like, I don't really have a full lesson or 7 great points on how to become a this, that kind of person. Like, no, like I just kind of had this thought of we can't start over. I can't start over. You can't start over. And I actually don't think that we should ever strive to want to start over. If you feel like I'm sick of this place, I need to move. In a way, yes, it does feel like you are starting over, starting a new life, but it's really just you are extending and iterating on this past version of yourself. And I actually think that's what makes change, what makes these quote unquote new beginnings even better, is it's not a full clean slate, full new beginning. You are that past version of yourself, those past experiences. You are her, them, him, dare I say, in a new place, and you are just building off of that. And I just think that's such an incredible thing. And I feel like I've talked about this on my whole destination addiction episode of, like we need to stop being so addicted to that, like I said, that second long finish line, because it is so short and the journey is what matters. And I think like why this has also been so on my mind is with the whole like social media is so much of a part of our lives. We are so focused sometimes on end goals and just other people's lives. And I just feel like presence is so important these days, and actually it's probably one of the most valuable things to us that we are losing every day. But that is up to you. If you are going to choose to lose your presence, that is up to you. If you are going to only focus on finish lines, that is up to you. If you are going to reframe your mind and know, you know what, I will never start over, but I will actually just keep iterating on myself, on my life, on my week, on my relationships, who I am as a person, how I show up to the world, and know that you are always better when you are building off of what you were before. And even on the note of people's own singular journeys too is, obviously I'm not a wild, sensational success here in the podcasting space, duh. But if I were to give somebody starting a podcast tomorrow what I have learned from 100 podcasts later, they could take that advice, they will go on their journey, and 100 podcasts later for them, they will have different things that they've learned, and they will have gone on a journey of their own, because there's just no formula to perfection and success. And the way that we actually get to these things that we want is by experiencing and learning from our own personal journey. And I just think that it's so exciting that every Sunday, that every new job, that every new relationship, that every new day, you are always a newer, smarter, more grown, developed version of yourself. And you just get to keep working with and molding and playing with that ever-moving story of yours. So I don't know, guys. Today was a little bit all over the place. And really, I wanted to keep it short and sweet. And also, once again, say thank you for being here. Because no matter where I get with the pod or I get with other things in life, hitting whatever subscriber number, that's going to be a short dopamine hit, but it's actually these moments that I spend in front of the camera. It's the moments that I spend editing the pod, making the social media, that are my experience and my life experience and going to be my memories of having the Floating Rock podcast. So I guess one of the biggest lessons that I have learned from doing 100 episodes of a podcast, specifically a podcast about silly self-help and growth and self-development, is that you can't start over, and that's actually the most beautiful thing in the world. You will just always keep growing and developing and spiraling higher and learning the lessons that are meant for you at the right time. I really do think, guys, that everything happens for the right reason, and maybe it is a placebo effect, and maybe it's just our brains trying to think of the best possible outcomes of things, and trying to be optimists of thinking like, okay, yeah, it just wasn't meant for me yet, maybe. But isn't that also a beautiful thing that our brains are so powerful to do that? So yeah, I just want to let you guys know that whatever timeline you're on, whatever you think of when I say timeline, whether you're thinking of your career, you're thinking of spiritually, you're thinking of relationships, like I don't know what you're thinking, honestly, but we have multiple timelines in our life, correlated to those things. And honestly, they all also intertwine, which is a very interesting thought as well. But everyone's timeline is different. Things come to us at different times. Different things are meant for us. Different things are also redirection, and sometimes redirection's hard to take. Or sometimes things are slow in one area to leave room and openness in another area in our life. Like there's a million reasons why the things in our life are happening at the certain times that they are. And I honestly truly believe it's a beautiful kind of puzzle piece that all intertwines with each other. And I guess I just wanted to tell you guys that I am enjoying this journey of the pod, and I hope if you've been listening, or if you, once again, if this is your first time, that maybe you go back and listen to a few old ones, or maybe just hang around for next week's and the next week's and the next week's. But I'm enjoying this journey, and I hope that you have multiple things in your life that you enjoy the journey of and are not just so clutching on to the end goal and the end finish line, because like we all know, we need to detach from that finish line because life is about the journey. And yeah, guys, I don't know. I just want to give you lots of love, light, and gratitude today. And like I already said a few times, thank you again so much for being here, because creating art is a privilege, but an even bigger privilege is having people see it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for continuing to be here, I hope. So yeah, guys, follow the pod at floating.rock.podcast on TikTok and Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow and rate it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I will love you forever. That would be the best 100th episode gift, guys. I'm not even kidding. That'd be so cute of you. Or leave a comment, guys. I love a comment. There's a diva that's been commenting a few times. Shout out to you, girl. I see you. I forgot your username though. Sorry. But I love any sort of interaction. It makes my day, and it makes me feel like, oh my god, wait, someone's actually watching. That's so cool. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you again for being here. Peace and love and peace. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye.